Sheldon and Nian, and our head of marketing, Eves. So welcome to my colleagues, welcome to all the attendees. Today's lab is focused on SAP Build and SAP Document AI. We at VASS, we are an SAP partner. We are a global organization headquartered in Madrid with near 5,000 employees. And we support a variety of organizations all across the globe. For myself, I represent the BTP and BDC practice. So my focus is Integration Suite, Business Data Cloud, SAP Build, and specifically SAP Joule. So next week, just a quick plug, we are teaching a class on using Joule for developers to generate Fiori applications. So be sure to check out the SAP Build Discovery Days website for details on that webinar. Jumping into it, SAP Document AI. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using SAP Build apps to build a process automation to read a document, extract the data from the document, and then post a material goods movement into S/4HANA. So I have another slide which talks about the workflow here, but wanted to refresh everybody's memory that SAP Build Apps is the go-to platform for building and deploying application extensions and SAP landscapes, whether that's Cloud for SAP Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Commerce Cloud, or S/4HANA, right? SAP Build is where we can build different applications. We have Business Process Automation, Business Application Studio, Joule Skill Builder, and soon this quarter, we will have Joule Agent Builder as part of that SAP Build Apps suite. Remember, SAP Build can be used to build Fiori applications that you can deploy on-premise. So SAP Build and SAP Build and all the tools that are available with SAP Build is not just for running applications on BTP. There are some capabilities in SAP Build to deploy on-premise. Now, today, we're going to be talking about SAP Build automations, process automation, which is a cloud-only solution. The second thing we're going to work with today is SAP Document AI Premium. So for those of you that have joined, you might have worked with other OCR solutions. And typically, document OCR is machine learning or reinforcement learning based, meaning if I have 10 vendors sending me 10 different invoice formats, I traditionally would have to train a machine learning model on those 10 invoice formats so it knows what position to look for invoice number, invoice due date, terms, line items, pricing, etc. With Document AI Premium, there is no pre-training required. An LLM is leveraged inside of Document AI Premium to interpret documents without pre-training. So today we're going to be working on a goods movement that is based on handwriting, which is kind of unique. I tried to think of a scenario, and we'll talk about the scenario more here in a little bit. But again, Document AI Premium is an additional service on BTP. It is accessible via API from any SAP and non-SAP application. So when you run SAP Document AI Premium to process documents, whether that's an email or invoices or purchase orders, or as we're doing today, a goods movement, maybe you're doing QA inspections or inbound delivery documents, whatever document you might be using, SAP Document AI Premium can process it, extract the data from it. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, SAP Document AI Premium can also process images. So it can extract information from images using an LLM as well. All right. So how do we get started? So everything here in the lab today, you're going to be using a VASS BTP tenant, and you're using a VASS email address. And we're going to talk about how to log in here shortly. But I wanted to let you know what are the components that we have activated and what are we using. So we are using SAP Identity Service, Identity Authentication Service. We do not need to use SAP Cloud Connector today because we're using an S4 on-premise, S4 public cloud system. We have a BTP EA agreement. And then in terms of licenses, if you wanted to do this on your own, you would need an SAP Build developer license, which list price is about $45 a user a month. You would need SAP Document AI Premium, and then you would need the SAP Document Management Service. And I'll talk about why that is used here shortly. So everything here we talk about today is very easy to pilot, very easy to prototype, and you can get started very quickly. In terms of the architecture, I just wanted to highlight for this drawing here, we're going to be working in Build Process Automation, which is part of SAP Build, the larger Build application suite on BTP. And SAP Build has destinations. In our lab today, we have a destination for the Document Management Service, we have a destination for Document AI, and we have a destination for S/4HANA Cloud. So those are all destinations that Business Process Automation can access. All of this is connected to SAP Cloud Identity Service. I mentioned before, we're using identity and authentication as the authentication mechanism, which is how you're able to log in and how you're able to use these applications today. All right, so in the lab today, the idea is I have a shop floor employee who fills out a form with his or her handwriting that says, I want to move a product from one bin to another bin. I want to move this number, product 26, quantity of 2. I want to move it from bin 171B to 171C. Again, it's just a scenario we're practicing here today. SAP provides templates and already has a class on how to process an invoice. So I wanted to show something different, something that was A, non-standard, doing a goods movement, B, using handwriting, which is very kind of unique, just to kind of show the capability and the power of this platform and what can I do. Now, in this process, we're assuming that you have a scan or a picture of a form that an employee filled out on the shop floor. That scan is then uploaded to the document management service. That document is processed by SAP Document AI. The extracted data is then used to post to a S/4HANA, which creates the material document. And a material document in S/4HANA is the goods movement. So in this case, I'm simulating taking a product, and the product number is 26. It's a very simple product number. I have a product created for every lab user. That way it's kind of easy to remember. So everyone here today is going to be doing a goods movement using Document AI, using business process automation, using APIs for S/4HANA in order to do that. For the lab, I wanted to highlight, number one, please interrupt me. Please post a question in the chat. I do have some colleagues here to help me out. So Nian and Sheldon are available in the chat if you have questions or issues. Your user ID will be lab user and then a number, and we'll give those numbers out here shortly. The lab exercises are available on this GitHub page, so I'll go ahead and copy that out and put that in the chat. But there's some documents there, there's some files there, there's a PDF of the lab instructions. I'll also post those lab instructions here in the Teams chat. I have the important URLs here as well. I do recommend using a new Chrome profile, so open up Chrome, hit create new profile, and just call it lab or something. That way you're avoiding any caching or other passwords you might have in Chrome. Because again, you're using a lab user ID that is a BTP user account, is an IAS user account, and we just don't want that to conflict with maybe your work BTP accounts. Ask questions in chat, interrupt. We have a decent amount of attendees today. I don't think it's going to be, if you have a question, don't feel like you need to be stuck very long. Ask it in chat, ask it verbally. I'll pause what I'm doing and I'll get going. Now, saying that, we need to go ahead and assign user IDs. So I'm looking at the Microsoft Teams here. Lab user 03 is going to be Alan Gerving. Cole, you're going to be lab user 4. Diane, you're going to be user 5. Gopi, you're going to be user 6. Jesse Sutton, thankfully we have no repeats of names today, is going to be number 7. Leland, you're going to be lab user 8. Noor, you're going to be lab user 9. Shilpa, you're going to be lab user 10. Shiva, you're going to be lab user 11. And that is everybody here. So just need a quick thumbs up or some sort of message in the chat that everybody sees their user ID and understands what lab user they're going to be using today. Thumbs ups, I see a couple. Great. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and post into the chat the work instructions. 1 second, let me copy that out. All right, so I'm going to give you a OneDrive link to I'm going to give you a OneDrive link that you can download the document directly in your browser. You also have the capability of going to the GitHub page, and there's a there's a PDF that you can download as well. So I'm giving you both those links there. So please confirm that you're able to download the Word document, so you're able to see those exercises, and then also you have the GitHub page, which we're going to use because we need some things out of GitHub, need some documents to help you get started. Once you have the Word document and you have your user ID, you are welcome to listen to the sound of my voice while we work, and you're also welcome to move forward in the lab. Again, at the top of the lab instructions, we have important URLs that you can always reference back. So the SAP Build link, the SAP Document AI link. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with Configure SAP Document AI. If you want to get started here, I'm going to go ahead and copy this
Hey,
hyperlink
Michael.
out. Yes, quick question.
Quick question to you. This is Noor here. I don't have access to the drive there. I'm in the cockpit.
What
It's possible
if
to
you
share
if you
that
go to
here.
GitHub? If you go to GitHub, the lab instructions are there as well. So GitHub is a publicly available site. You can also download the instructions here via PDF.
Oh, I got it. All right. Thank you so much.
Yep. All right, getting started. I have a profile that I'm going to use, and we're going to go to the cockpit first, and we're going to sign in. So I'm going to sign in as lab user 01. Please no one delete my things. Please no one delete anyone else's things. Just kind of hang out in your own area. I did give everybody here administrative access. So you have administrative access to Document AI, SAP Build. Be kind to your other lab attendees so that we don't walk on each other's toes. I'm logging in, and I'm going to first just highlight how to navigate into SAP Document AI. In this case, I have SAP Document AI configured in a Google Cloud Data Center, and I have the subscription, which I have named, or the application here, which is called SAP Document AI. When I click that link, I'm going to get a login prompt to log in through Identity Authentication Service. Once I log in, we're going to go to the first step of the document, which is creating a schema. A schema, in short, tells Document AI what is the data that I am going to look for when analyzing a document. So here I'm going to create my schema, and I'm going to call it lab user 01. You can call it lab user GM, like I say in the document. You can call it whatever you want. Just remember the schema that you used and try to keep a number in there that references your user ID. That way, you know you can come back and reference it as well. So I'm going to call mine lab user 01. It's going to be what's called a custom document type, and I'm using the document engine called document. There is an engine for something called scene text, which is an image engine as opposed to an OCR engine. Today we're working with documents, so I'm going to go ahead and create my lab user 01 schema. Now, once I have my schema, referencing the Word document, I'm going to go ahead and add header fields, the first one being source bin, and then I will be adding the rest of these target bin product quantity notes. Now, the label is very important because if I look at my form that I will be processing, look at my labels, source bin, target bin, product, and quantity. These are labels on the document that I know are there, and so this helps the LLM in targeting the information it's looking for, as an example. Right? If we're looking at invoices, we typically see payment terms. We typically see invoice date. We typically see invoice number. Right? These are all labels that you know are going to exist on the document, and we can input those on the form. So here I'm going to type source underscore bin, and the label is source bin, and oops, there we go. Copy that, paste it in my description. It is a data type of string, auto, and save. And I'm going to go ahead and do this for all of the items. And again, if you're following along, I'm right here on this table where I'm creating target bin, product quantity notes, and unit of measure. Now, one question I get is, Michael, does the LLM learn from documents it previously processed? And the short answer is yes, and we will highlight that here shortly. Once I have all of my fields, my header fields, I'm going to click the Activate button, which is right here in step 13. So once you've added all fields, click Activate, and then we're going to process a document. So we have the schema. We've told it you're going to be this schema has this data elements, and when I upload a document, I want you to use that in order to process it. On the left side navigation, I left schema config and I went over to document. I'm going to click the add button, or process button in short, and I'm going to select my custom document type. I'm going to click lab user 01 as my schema, and I'm going to select the default version because I only have one right now. Next, I need to add a file. Where am I going to get that file? Inside of the GitHub repository, you can see a folder with everybody's user ID. Inside of that folder, we have created a PDF that is available for you to process, and the product is number 6. I know it's not very believable. When I asked my S/4HANA support person to create some parts for me, they created single-digit parts, so it is what it is. Not very. Anyways, it is what it is. And we have a question from Noor. Noor, go ahead. And Noor, if you have your hand raised, I don't know if you still have a question.
No, I think, sorry, it was from the previous one.
Okay,
Me.
great. No problem, no problem. All right, everybody. Again, you need to go to this folder to download a document. So I have a goods movement template. And so where I was going with this was you've created a schema that says, hey, document AI, extract data from this file. Well, what file do you want to practice on? And so I have my document here, and I'm going to say confirm. Now, one thing I want you to notice in the upload is all the document types that can be processed. Emails, pictures, documents, all Office documents, text files, CSV files. Again, lots of documents can be processed. Today, we're doing a very easy one. We're doing, we're just using a PDF. Now, once the model has been processed, I want to highlight something for you on my screen here. The LLM believes that it is 51 to 80% confident in the values that it found. So in notes, it found the word transfer. In product, it found the number 26. Source bin and target bin look good. In this scenario, what you can do to reinforce the learning that has been done, you can go ahead and you can click on it, and you can hit apply. You can change it if you wanted to. So as an example, if it didn't find the number 26, I can click on the PDF, go around it, select and put the field that should be a map to it, right? So I can force it to look at something, and maybe if it was scanning a document, it couldn't quite figure things out. But once I'm done, and once I hit confirm, I'm confirming that all of the fields are correct, and the confidence level will go from 0 to 100 or 51 to 100. The fields will go green, and it's effectively what I've done is I've trained it, or I'm supporting its reinforced learning on this. Now, a question from Noor in the audience, which I think is a good question for everybody. What LLM is used, and can I choose? Maybe the next question is typically, can I change the LLM? And the short answer is this is an LLM provided as a service from SAP that has been customized for documents. You cannot choose a different LLM. I do not work for SAP, but I have been told behind the scenes, off the record, that it is OpenAI behind the scenes. Again, you cannot choose the LLM used in Document AI Premium because it is a domain-specific LLM, DSLM. By the way, that's a new acronym I just heard today, so I'm already using it. A domain-specific LLM that is trained at SAP. And data is anonymized, and your data is not used to train third-party LLMs. So if you go to SAP Document AI Premium Help, you will see their privacy and data protection policy, and that is where SAP lays out that the forms and the documents that you process, the information, the context, the training of that stays in your tenant. So if I was an international organization concerned about data sovereignty, in my lab, have configured US Central Google. If you were a Japanese company, you could choose a data center in Japan. If you were a German company, you could choose a data center in Germany, and SAP Document AI would run in those data centers. So SAP does support sovereign data policies. So we've stepped through quite a few instructions in the lab. We've gone through step 17, 18, 19. We've uploaded a document. We've processed a document. Congratulations, we have a new schema set up. So we've configured Document AI at this point to be able to process different types of, or the document that we wanted to process, a goods movement. In your organization, if you're looking at purchase orders, if you're looking at emails, maybe a service request email comes in, you just want to take the text out of it and look for something. That's something that you could do as well. So we've trained it on how to do a document. Next, we're going to move into SAP Build. Noor, the good question out there, is the service currently available for GovCloud or only for public cloud? I would have to go check the service availability on SAP Help, and I'll put a call out to Nien or Sheldon. If you could quickly look up the BTP service availability and help Noor answer that question. Are any of the BTP GovClouds, do they support Document AI? And I'd be interested to know myself too. All right, continuing with the lab. We're going to go to SAP Build Apps. Again, if I wanted to navigate through the BTP cockpit, in my dropdown, I would select SAP Build as my tenant, instances and subscriptions, and I can see SAP Build Apps there. In the Word document, though, I've also given you the direct link, so you could always copy that hyperlink, and you would come to SAP Build Lobby. So as a developer, I'm now in the SAP Build Lobby. And the very first thing I need to do is create a new process automation. So I click the Create button. You can see here I have applications, automated processes, Joule skills. That's a plug from our lab. In 3 weeks' time, we're going to be teaching Joule skills. So if you want to take that class and learn how to build a Joule skill, we got another class coming up. But today we're going to click on automated process. We're going to click on a process, because we're doing multiple things. It's not just an automation. We're going to be calling some endpoints. We're going to have a form. Again, you can see here there's templates, right? Automating invoices, approval flows, things like that. In my mind, SAP Business Process Automation is an enhancement, an upgrade, a replacement of SAP ABAP Workflow. Yes, ABAP Workflow will exist and continue to exist and has existed for 20 years and will continue to exist for another 20 years. But you do have the capability of using process automation to do workflows. And I think the beauty of process automation is that I can configure workflows against any API on the planet. I can have a multi-system workflow built in running in SAP Business Process Automation very easily and quickly. So lab user 01, I'm going to call mine V2, or that's what I'm going to give mine, and then I'm going to give it a name. Got it. So I've given it a name, I'm hitting review, and I'm hitting create. Now, as soon as I hit review and create, it's going to pop a new browser tab. And if you're following along, we're in the section Create Automation with SAP Build. We have completed step 6, step 7, step 8, and next we are on step 11, which is creating a process. And I'll pause there actually for an audio check, a speed check, and to see how everybody is doing. Is everybody doing okay? Thumbs up is good. If you've muted me or turned me down, that's okay too. Cool. Thank you all. All right. What did I call this? Lab user 01 is my process. Let me spell it right. So we're creating a process, right? A process within process automation. We're hitting the create button. And now we've created the process, and before we add any automations, we're going to click the settings icon, and we're going to add an environment variable, and we're going to set a project dependency, and we're going to, I believe, yep, just a dependency and an environment variable. So I'm at the start page. I don't want to click on anything yet. I want to click the settings button. I want to click environment variables. I'm going to hit create an environment variable, and I believe I called it S4 system. And this is the S4 HANA system I wanted to use. Now, an environment variable allows me to have a destination in BTP as a variable, because as you imagine, as part of your software development landscape, you're going to have this running in dev and then QA and prod, and you don't want to be changing URLs as you go from dev to QA and prod. Remember, SAP Build supports cloud transport management. And so we want to create a destination called S4 HANA system so that as I transport this from dev to QA to prod, it's going to connect to the right S4 system wherever it moves. Next, I need to add some dependencies because SAP Build Process Automation is all about reusability, all about being able to um, use things. Um, let's see what happened here. There we go. I had a quick blip there, got a little nervous. It was all good. So when I hit add dependency, I'm going to add document AI lab. I'm going to add another dependency for the document AI service editable, I believe. Let me go back to my instructions. Yes, I want the editable package for document AI service. I'm going to hit add. And then I need an actions dependency for create material document, read and create. All right, so there are two here. Don't be confused. Hit the first one. It specifically says this project, and I have outlined that in here as well, the project for material documents. So I've added my dependencies, my environment variables, etc. I'm going to hit close now. Next, I'm going to hit add a trigger. And I'm going to do a form-based trigger to start this. Now, I'm on step 23 for those following along on page 12. If we quickly look here, a form is just that, like a Fiori form where someone puts in some data and they hit submit and it sends, or it's an approval form or some sort of form, some sort of interactive user interface. I also have the ability to set up an API trigger. So this process can be triggered via API. I can wait for an event connected to SAP Event Mesh or some event in S4 or any other SAP Cloud solution. And then I have a scheduled trigger, run every hour, run every day, run every 5 minutes. You guys decide, but I just wanted to let you know, this is a capability, this is there. We're going to do submit a form, and we're going to create a blank form, and I'm going to call my, everything prefixed with lab user 01. That way we can all find it, and we don't step on each other's toes. So I have my form. When you create your form, you're going to click the three dots and click Open Editor. So back over here on my Word document, we are on step 26, Lab User and Form. Click Create, Open Editor, and now we have a canvas. So you can name this whatever you want. I'm going to call mine Goods Movement Upload. And I'm going to take this icon for the file upload, and I'm going to drag it onto my canvas. So this is a canvas. I'm going to name the canvas this component called upload file, where someone can drag a file. And then I'm going to add a text field, and that text field is for schema ID. Remember how we created a schema earlier? Let me spell it right so I don't mess up later. I'm going to add a field for schema ID. Do you need a schema ID on a form? No. Really the purpose of this lab is to show you some of the capabilities. I'm showing how you can enter a value. This could be a dropdown. This could be a lot of different things. But in order to keep each lab user separate and each lab user having their own schema ID, I did need to account for you having your own schema ID, and so I'm choosing here to put it on the form. You may or may not do this in a production environment, but again, just showing you some of the capabilities. I could add date for today's date and use that as a variable later. There's lots of different things. I can have choices. I can have dropdowns. A very cool feature, very cool capability. I can create approval forms, approve or reject. I can add text fields for notes. I can do all sorts of different things. But again, for this lab, we only have another hour, so we're keeping it simple. Schema ID upload file, it says good to go. It says saved. I'm just going to triple check myself, make sure it did save. It did not. So I didn't think it saved. Let me. Yep, I got to talking and not paying attention. There we go. Now in the UI, this is all a browser-based editor. A lot of times people will ask me if I close my browser, I go to lunch, I come back, is it still going to be there? I would say SAP, the build team, has done a good job of using a combination of cookies and caching in my session in order to keep whatever I've been working on, it'll keep it there. So I could stop here, go away, come back, hit the refresh button, and I'll kind of be at the same place. So SAP Build's done a good job there. All right, you've entered your schema ID as a field. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an automation. So we're going to click the plus button under our form, an automation, and I'm choosing to show you how to do a blank automation. When you get the prompt for an agent, please select Windows and Mac Agent 340. This is a very important step. When you run this process automation, it is running on a centralized agent on a host somewhere. And this host happens to be Mac. And it doesn't matter that your computer is Windows because that automation is not running on your computer. You're designing it in a browser, but it's executing on a shared environment, a platform, and it is using an agent installed on a server when I have to do different things. So super important step. If you already got past this step and you forgot to do that, I'll show you how to do that later. You're going to go to Settings, Agent Version. Make sure you check Mac. Make sure you check version 340 because that's the version of the agent I have installed running on my computer. So all of your automations that you build here in the lab today, they're all running actually on my computer. That way it's easily controlled and I can help you troubleshoot and debug. All right, so we selected an automation. You don't need to detect your own agent. Again, we want to check the button for Windows and Mac, just like the screenshot says, 340, and we're going to call it lab user 01 underscore automation. Once I have that there, I'm going to go ahead and hit Open Editor. And the very first thing I do is I add variables, and you're going to add two variables. So on the right side of the panel, I click Variables, Input Parameter, Folder ID, case sensitive, right? So folder ID, and then add an output parameter called File Path. They are both strings, which looks great. Perfect. So I've added my input variable, output variable. I hit Save button. They're there. They're done. Next, I go to Tools, and I'm going to reuse an automation I've already done. And I already have an automation that you're going to use for, it's called Get Folder Contents. Because when in the first step, we have a form where the user is going to upload a document. Well, where does it go? It goes to SAP Document Management Service. And in order for me to take that PDF document that we uploaded and process it in Document AI, I need to go get the details of the folder file that was just uploaded, the file ID, the file content type, that kind of thing. And so I see here, when I click on it, it's red, folder ID. I'm going to go ahead, remember that input parameter, folder ID, I'm going to go ahead and assign it as an input parameter here. So again, my overall process has an input parameter at the start level called folder ID, which is then passed to the automation called Get Folder Content. If you want to know what this thing does, go ahead and double click on it. It's view only, so don't worry. You're not going to be using anything. You're not going to hurt anything. Don't worry about this red X. It's all good. But this is everything that this thing's doing behind the scenes. It's calling a web service. It's getting functionality. It's getting folder contents and returning that back to us so that we can actually process the document. Going back to my instructions, we are going to add a second automation after we did the Get Folder Content. We're going to go ahead and do the download and process action as next. So under Tools, I can select down. And I see this download thing here. I drag and drop it onto the canvas. As you can imagine, the output here is called folder content. So what am I doing here? I'm going to select folder content as the input, and the output is the downloaded file path. Following the instructions, it's all there. I'm showing you in my on my screen what to do, but again, everything is here in the Word document, so feel free to follow along. Shiva, I'll do that as well, and I will pause here and wait for some thumbs ups. Thank you, Shiva, for the. I tend to get pretty excited and talk fast. So we'll pause here for 60 seconds. For those of you that are following along, again, that we're on step 62, page 14 of the document, where we have set the output parameters downloaded file path, and the next thing I'm going to do is the end of this automation. What is the output? The output is that downloaded file path. Everyone here is seeing this for the first time. And so I know it can visually be tough to put together. Where we are here is we used a form to upload to the document management service. And now we're in this processing SAP document, processing SAP document AI. So we're getting the folder from document management service, and soon we're going to pass it over to document AI. All right. Once you've completed a step, let's see, step 66. Again, what in step 66, we finished the automation. So now you can see a start has a folder ID. It's passing it to get folder content, which is outputting the folder content. It's then the folder content is used as an input to download the documents. The downloaded documents are downloaded, and the end step is the file path. From here, when I go back to my canvas, the process canvas, where my process lives, you'll see that the automation is red, and that's because we need to change the input. We set up an input called folder ID, and that input is the file that we uploaded, right? That's what that input is, all right? And I'm going to hit save. And effectively where I'm at now is step 68. Now, we've uploaded the form. We know where the form is, the PDF is in Document Management Service. We went and got the PDF out because we need to post it to an API for Document AI. And that's where we're going to hit, again, the add button, automation. But instead this time, we're going to be using the package from SAP, Doc AI extract with schema. When I add that, it needs an input, file to upload. That's the variable. It was the output from the prior automation we created called file path. And then a schema name, which is coming from the schema, the goods movement form, where I have my schema ID, right? So you created that schema in Document AI. We treat it as an input in the form, and then we're passing that schema ID to the Document AI API so that when we call Document AI service, we give it the file, we give it the schema, and we say, go analyze this document. When you add the automation, there will be a red warning symbol. You got that. You're past it. We've added that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do another reusable package. I already have a package called assign variables. Document AI, let's just click on the package, has an output. It has the extracted data from the API. It's extracted data in a JSON response. So if you think about this document AI extract with schema, I can process an invoice, a purchase order. It's the same automation I can reuse on 16 different document types. But in this flow, I'm working with a specific one, so I need to go get the values out of it in order to process my goods movement. And so I'm going to select the extracted data from as the input here to my assigned variables. And when I double click on my assigned variables, it's very simple. It's getting that JSON response and just saying, hey, get me source bin out. Get me source bin out of there. Give me target bin. Remember, those are those fields we created in the schema. The quantity, the product, the UOM, the notes, all that stuff. Go ahead and get that out of there. That way it can be used in the next step, which is actually posting it to SAP. So input, extracted data, output, it's outputting all of these, I'm sorry, got lost there. It's outputting all of the content from that JSON response. Cool. All right, where are we on the Word document? All right, so we got our variables done. We extract data, extract the response. Awesome. We're getting to the most difficult step today. It's the most tedious. There's nothing I can do about it to make it easier, unfortunately. But create a material document is the action we're going to use. So again, we've got this HTTP action. I have to select a variable. I'm selecting that S4 system variable that we used before. Again, just to highlight, in settings, I have environment variables and dependencies. I used to have something here called agents. Remember in the end, I used to have something here called agent config. I don't see it anymore. It kind of makes me nervous. Where did it go? But anyways, we'll figure it out. So I have this create material document, and I select the destination variable called S4 system. On the Word document, we are now at step 90, which is the most complicated step that we're doing, unfortunately. What we have to do is scroll through all of the JSON fields inside of a material document create in order to put values. So for the first one is goods movement code 04. So goods movement code, I'm just going to type 04. Again, I think you wouldn't hard code this in a real world. I'm just doing it in the lab so we could get it done fast. So goods movement code 04. Posting date, go ahead and post in a value of today's date. So it looks just like this, just hard coded in. Again, you wouldn't do this in a normal world. We have to do this inside of here. You have to check these two boxes called single item, single property. You can bind objects and bind to a list. Maybe you have to do 25 material documents, or you could go get a bunch of documents in batch, build a list of documents to process, and then send that as a list to the API. So, in this case, in our lab today, we're doing something very basic and very simple. We're creating one material document. But again, if you needed to do something more complex, you need to do bulk operations, that is 100% supported, and you can do that. Today, we're just going very fast. The next field we're going to do is material. So we're going to use that variable for product that we extract out of the document. So it is thankfully in alphabetical in this screen. So we're going to go to material, and we're going to select that variable from the PDF called that we extracted. We're going to do movement type. We're going to hard code, again, just for the sake of speed. You could add lookup tables. You could add all of that kind of cool stuff. That's all capability. Plant to 1710. We're hard coding it. Quantity is going to be a variable because it comes from the form. So we go to quantity and entry unit. Select quantity. Again, this is the most tedious step, and if you do something wrong, it's okay. You can deploy it. It'll fail. I'll show you how to look at it failed. You'll see the error. You'll come back. You'll fix it, right? So no big deal, but just letting you know this is the most tedious step. Receiving and issuing plant, 1710. Storage location 1, 2. Again, these are target bin and source bin, so they're reversed. So we scroll down to storage location. Storage location, now storage bin, and storage location, I'm going to do target bin first, source bin second. So target bin first, source bin second. Click save. Done. Now, could I do more things on this? Yeah. Could I have it send me an email? Could I have it send a message to alert inbox? Can I do other things? 100%. This is a very basic lab today because we only have 90 minutes. Or 60 minutes, but just wanted to let you know that I have now this process complete. Good question from Noor. Can this solution be applied to both structured and unstructured data? Yes, sir, it can. Maybe you, just a random use case, maybe you have policy documents from the government and you need to extract data from a policy document that's in a text file. You can do that. You can do structured and unstructured. You can do images processing where you let the LLM interpret an image. Maybe you're doing an industrial inspection scenario where you're taking pictures of product and you're looking for scratches. That's an example of something that could be done here. Back to my project though, I'm in the section called Add Data Type, and I will pause here for another 2 minutes. 1, I'm going to get a quick drink of water. 2, just to make sure everybody can catch up. Please continue to ask questions, everybody. But I'm going to pause here for about 2 minutes to see, just to make sure everybody's doing well. Noor, just thinking out, I was thinking about your question, structured and unstructured. Another capability is like maybe you want to look for press releases from your competitors and analyze a press release and create a summary and then send an email. Um, that might be a Joule skill because a Joule skill I can have more input into the prompt of what is Joule doing. I have Joule Agent Builder, which I can select an LLM. I could choose Mistral, I could choose OpenAI, Google, Gemini. I can do whatever I want. So unstructured data, let's say again, you're looking for press releases. You have a list of competitors. Every day you want to go look for press releases from those competitors and summarize it and send it to a group of people. Great unstructured task. I could do a combination of business process automation and a Joule skill. So process automation might be on a scheduled trigger. It calls a Joule skill, which is going out and doing getting out press releases. Those press releases are then started, in some way the text is extracted using Document AI, using Joule Skill Builder. It's processed, it's summarized, and then an email is sent, or a Microsoft Team message is sent, or a document is placed on SharePoint, PowerPoint is updated, all sorts of things you can do. So good question, or that's you helping me think of new lab ideas that my
I think,
colleagues.
yeah, we have a requirement to have bringing any technical design documents that basically transfer to the S4 system. So I was thinking this could be a good use case where you can bring all the kind of technical documents, which are very secure documents. It cannot be processed manually, and there's a lot of documents.
Yep.
That's good. Yes. Thanks for
Just,
bringing up.
just to let you know, Joule has a native out-of-the-box connector to SharePoint and Azure Blob Storage. Um,
Okay.
you can do S3 you can do API-based S3 buckets, Google buckets, whatever buckets you want as well. But I wanted to point out that Joule has a natural integration, out-of-the-box integration, where you just set up a SharePoint as a destination in BTP, and then you can access SharePoint documents from your automations and from Joule skills.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much.
Mhm. Adding a data type. A data type is where we store lists of data. And in this case, we're processing one document. And so we need the data type to persist the data, but it's only one document today. In a real world, you are going to be processing dozens and dozens and dozens of documents more than likely. And so we want to create a data type called DMS objects, case sensitive. Please do use the identifier that's in the document. And I believe I need to follow my own instructions. There we go. DMS objects. All right, create. And in here, I'm going to add fields. And the fields are effectively the output of the document management service fields, the object ID, the object type, the object name. Because again, when I send that document off, I have to go retrieve it. I have to persist that data around like the document ID and the document type so I can reuse it later in life. And so that's what we're doing here. So it's again, if I zoom in so I can see object ID, object type, object name. I'll go ahead and create those now. Cool. DMS object is saved. I believe it's saved. I'm going to triple check myself. Yep, everything's good. All right, the fancy steps now. Deploying, testing. what is nice is, you can see up top, I have an editable version of my process right now. I'm working in it. I have not released it. I have not updated. This is the very first release. So I'm going to hit the release button, release version 1.0, press release. This is effectively the version control inside of SAP Build. I now have an editable version right now in my screen, and I can click the released version. I can see it on my screen. Now I'm ready to hit the deploy button. I'm deploying to the shared environment. I'm hitting deploy. Now, on this screen, I do have this documented inside of the Word document. So inside the Word document, we are on page, we're deploying it. And then right here on deploy, you will need to populate destinations. So for docs, that's document AI. I'm pointing it to document AI. For document management, make sure you select this document store. For S4, I have to select an S4 system. And I named my S4 system the system name, which is MY421457. I realize I should have named it S4 system, but everybody, that is in the Word document here. So just follow the Word document, you'll be okay. Hit deploy. And then we're actually going to test this thing, make sure it actually works. So now it says deployed. So again, up top, I have a deployed version and an editable version. It says deployed. When I click on my process in the deployed version, I can see the form. I can click on my form and I get a form link and a Launchpad link. So if I wanted to add this form to a Fiori Launchpad or to SAP Work Zone, I would copy this link and go into my Work Zone and add a tile and do that. We're going to hit the link directly today in order to just test the form. So upload form. I'm going to browse my computer to find the form. It's my goods movement. Drop it in. And then I need to remember, I called my schema lab user 01 case sensitive. This is very case sensitive. In this case, again, in the real world, you would not do this. You know the schema you're going to use. You're creating a form for a goods movement. You can hard code it. But again, in our lab, I just wanted to show that you could do that. Submitted successfully. If I wanted to have a message come back to the user other than this, I can do that as well, right? I could have a message come back. I can have an email go back. I can do all sorts of things. Back in the SAP Build lobby, I'm going to go to monitoring. I'm going to go to my processes and workflows. I can see lab user 01 is right here. So what did it do? It started the instance. It started the automation. It completed successfully, that very first automation. It then started extracting data with the schema. That completed successfully. It then assigned variables, right? The variables thing. And then it created the material document, and it says completed successfully, right? So it posted the material document header, and it did that successfully, which is fantastic. Here I can see the action here for post and the result. So if I go into SAP right now, S4, I would see a material document with that number, with today's date, doing that movement of that product from source bin to destination bin, quantity of 2. That got done. Very cool. Another way to look at this is back in monitoring. I have automation jobs. When you're looking at your stuff, it naturally comes up for failed first. You can select your project. So I'm only looking at my project right now. But again, just looking at what is this thing doing step by step. That first automation I did, it went and that's the folder. This ID is the folder in Document Management Service that my upload form uploads the file to. So whatever the user uploaded, it put it in that folder. And then that automation went and it got the PDF. And again, this is running on an agent on my machine. I then passed the PDF and the schema to Document AI, and there's the extracted response, right? That's the data that came out of it. And then I assigned variables. It took the extracted response and assigned it to those variables, which I then passed to there. Now, this warning message down here, that was me. I created the warning message in my automation because I like to put log messages in my automations just so I can see what's happening from a troubleshooting perspective. Maybe this is not healthy long term because it's going to have hundreds of log messages um, forever. But in short, it worked, right? So again, in monitoring, process, and workflow, I'm hoping to see some students out there. I see lab user. I see some errors out there. I wonder what happened. Um, Schema name. So it looks like schema name was blank, and so there was no schema name that was uploaded. In lab user 03, lab user 04, your create material document failed. Quantity invalid. So what that means is back in the Word document, um, and calling people out. I'm not trying to shame you, just sharing, helping you troubleshoot. So lab user 04, you just need to switch target and source. So target up top, source in there. And basically this is an error message that says you had zero quantity in the target bin, or in the source bin, so it wouldn't let you do that. That's the error message from S4. Just letting you know there that happened. Lab user 03, I think that your automation is stuck because you didn't select Mac OS as an agent. I'm going to double check that right now. Could be wrong. Oh, that was yesterday. Sorry. So it doesn't even matter. That was somebody else yesterday. Let me just focus on today. Those are all October 21st. So those are all yesterday. Anybody else out there? Were you able to get to the execution step? Any questions? We have 20 minutes. We have effectively 25 minutes. So today went by very fast, actually. What questions do you have out there on the webinar? Please interrupt.
So I'm not able to go to the 7, the link to the 7.
What step of the guide? I'm sorry.
7 step number 7, way front. I just started right now.
So you can go to, if you want, it's the SAP Document AI link. Step number 7 is the schema.
Yeah, the schema. Yeah. Number 6 maybe going to create the new custom schema to configure the elements. So.
Yep. So real quick, I'll show you where that's at. So if you watch my screen here, so you log into SAP Document AI, you'll over here click schema configuration, and you'll click create.
Here. Got it. All right. Thank you.
Looks like a couple people have gotten some things done. That's great. So I see lab user 18, 11, 10. Nice job. Thank you so much. It looks like I'm the only one that's got it to run so far, but I know you all will catch up. I know I go fast. Oh, a question from Shiva. Where is the workflow being executed? Is it on your machine or by the desktop agent or in Build Cloud? So, Shiva, it depends on what you do inside of your automation. So, in our automation, we had to call document AI. So, if I double click on this, when it when it calls when it posts the file, it's posting a file, a payload to the API. And in this case, in our automation, it is using a desktop agent in order to download the document to a working directory and then post it to the document AI API as a payload to process the document. So in my automation, in this lab, in this class, we need an agent running on a host somewhere in our environment. Now in my lab, it's running on my computer, but that way I can help you troubleshoot. In a real world, you'd have this on a server, in a data center, an agent that would be running there. You could have multiple agents for disaster reliability. So in this lab, yes, I need an agent in order to download the PDF and attach it as a payload to the API when I post it. Now, if I'm using an automation that has no PDF attachment, I'm doing an automation to get one API for another API for another API for another API, that can 100% run through like our S4 task, which is when we post to S4, that's actually running from SAP Build over a destination. So an action can, if you just have a business process automation full of actions, you don't need an agent, you don't need a local computer, everything's running in cloud and you're off and running. Now, one thing I forgot to highlight earlier is in the store, you have tons of examples from SAP. So if I do invoice, I can see that I have 44 different templates from SAP. Intelligent invoice processing, as an example, cancel a customer invoice, mass closure, purchase order actions, read supplier invoice. All of these templates are available from SAP, ready to use, out of the box, built by the SAP Build team. If I want to work with sales orders, production orders, purchase orders, all of this is available in SAP Build Store as a template. So very cool capability that SAP has for us where, yes, they've given us a blank canvas we can build automations from, but we also can draw from SAP examples, adapt and modify for our needs, our requirements. Leland, go ahead and fire away.
Excuse me. I was going through and I uploaded the like lab user 08 goods movement file, and I did the it read it, and it only came back with one entry that it recognized. So in this instance, this is where we're training it, where we can explicitly tell it
Yep,
what
exactly.
values it are.
Exactly. In this instance, you have access to the document AI. And so here I see your document, lab user 01. Very interesting that it didn't find everything. What was interesting is your schema only has one field. So going back to schema config lab user 08, you just need to add all the fields
I was
to your
about to message
schema.
that. I was about to message that in the chat.
All right.
I think
Sorry.
following the instructions, it's easy
Yes.
to follow along, but then you don't realize that you have to do it 6 times, 6 times.
Yeah. Yes. I apologize. Yeah. It's so hard. I'm not a professional trainer by skill. I am a basis nerd who likes SAP all. And so, yeah, I appreciate your patience there. Diane, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a wonderful experience. Please do reach out with questions if you have any. We will be sending out the lab materials to everybody's email, a nice thank you note. And the lab will be available all day to everybody today. In fact, we're rerunning this lab tomorrow in Spanish in the afternoon. So the lab will be available all today, and then tomorrow we will delete everybody's work because we're reusing this for a different class. But again, you have all day today and most of the morning tomorrow to finish if you don't get by. And while we have time, just to share screen, if you wanted to see how an invoice is processed inside of the GitHub, um, I do have invoice examples, a folder with some invoices. And if you wanted to just see how SAP Document AI handles an invoice, um, I given you examples and you all can do that as well. And you'll see here on screen when the AI is done, what it is able to process on its own and what it's not, which is kind of cool. So very neat capability of Document AI. If anybody out there on the call today has any use case ideas, please feel free to share them, and we're happy to spitball them. You have a variety of engineers available to you. You have myself, Nian, and Sheldon. We have experience with Sales Cloud, Commerce Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Customer Data Platform, S4 HANA. So anybody there out there, if you can think of uh, if you can think of any use cases or scenarios, happy to spitball with you here on the meeting while we have time.
Are we able to use this processing through this user interface and through BTP to generate middleware type level integrations to SAP where I can put a iOS user front end interface and just kind of do the equivalent of a OData exchange?
Yes, in short, SAP has the SAP Mobile SDK for iOS that you can embed in your iOS application. It can then call API endpoints and integrate authentication with SAP IAS. So if you know the tough the SAP has a very interesting licensing scheme where you really want the user to process documents as themselves inside of SAP, right? And so you don't get charged something called a digital access license. So Michael Pytel on iOS is M Pytel in S4 as an example, right? And so I need to link that identity, and SAP's SDK for iOS allows me to do that. So I can pass Michael's OAuth token inside the mobile app all the way to S4 and back, so that, let's say, for example, I'm creating a quote, creating a sales order, creating an invoice, whatever it might be in a mobile app, my identity is passed all the way through to the back end so that it's not created by bot service or some service account. It's actually created by Michael, right? From mobile app all the way through. And yes, you can do that through, this would be an asynchronous operation, right? When I would use BPA. So I might have an API trigger from mobile to an API trigger. The API trigger then triggers something else that happens and goes on. That could be, like you said, uploading a PDF. I think one use case I heard out of Germany, which was very cool, was they actually did an iOS app that captured audio and then used BPA and then another business AI service to transcribe the audio into notes, summarize the notes, and post the notes as a meeting summary inside of Sales Cloud, right? So very cool use case of a mobile app capturing audio, posting the audio to BTP, using business AI to process the audio, generate a summary, and then post it as an action inside SAP's Sales Cloud. Great question. And yes, that is 100% a capability.
Thanks for that.
And a lot of people may or may not know this, but it is Devtober, like Developer October, Devtober for SAP. If you search out right now, SAP Devtober, this class here is about document AI. There's lots of other SAP Build classes going on, and I do believe I saw one on the mobile SDK with SAP Build going on as well this month. So there's this is a good month to have lots of free training.
Hey, Michael, I'm trying to upload the document. It's taking a really good amount of time, still pending.
Let's see, monitoring. What is your lab user?
9.
And it's oh, I'm sorry.
09.
I don't see it upload. Did you do a schema? Yes, you did. Your schema though is in draft. You need to activate your schema.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
And the reason why I know that is my buddy Nian on the call was pointed this out. I needed to add this to my instructions. So anyways, yes, you have to remember to activate your schema. And then when you do the upload, you're going to select your schema. So custom
So
lab
do you have
09.
to upload again, or it will take care automatically take care of that?
I'm testing yours right now on my screen, so you can see your custom and then I have to hit confirm. It uploads it, and then we'll see if it works here shortly. Still pending, and it looks like it got everything. Oh, you're just missing the field product in your schema.
Oh, I see. All the missing parts.
Yeah, it's like everything in SAP. It's all about knowing where to click, right?
All right, so I have to go back and, the good thing that I have to go back and change it.
Yes, you can go back and change it.
All right, okay, let me do that. Thank you.
Yep, good question.
So to add a new field there, currently it is, I have to deactivate and do it because current version is published, right?
Yeah, good question. Let me go do mine.
Yeah, I had to
So you-
deactivate it and then delete the file and then go and add it back into the schema and then republish it, reactivate it, re-upload, and then ultimately work when I got all the settings right.
Isn't it possible to create a new version for that? Create version that's there rather than.
I think so. Like I just hit create version. It says version 2 now, and I can hit activate.
Let me try that path. Yeah. So then, see the header fields like really now I have added one, but that's basically not in the same place. Product is in the same place, right? How to reposition them?
You don't need to reposition them. It's not in order.
Yeah, is there
It's
a way to reposition or no?
You don't need to reposition. There is no sequence or order needed. Yeah.
Okay, got it. It's activated now. Let me go to the document. So, so I created that. It's saying done now. I think I have updated that with a new new schema.
So your schema, once you have all the fields in it and hit activate, just test that it works by hitting the upload button and finding your schema.
Got it.
And then it looks like you have version 2 if it's lab user 09.
Yes.
There.
So I have to upload a new document. I can't use the same document anymore.
No, you could use the same document over and over. Basically, what you're doing here is you're just testing your schema. You could use you could do the same document as many times as you want. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I hope though, I want everybody to remember SAP Build is about $45 a user a month, right? It is not a crazy expensive product. So just talking again about the tools I need in this lab, I have Build Developer, $45 a user a month to build process automations. I have Document AI activated, which you can go to Discovery Center and see the pricing there. And I have Document Management Service, which is $4 a month for every 100 gig of document storage. So I'm not going to say it's free. It's not free. You can do the developer trial, but the developer trials don't let you use Document AI Premium, which is the LLM-based Document AI. The free Document AI is the traditional OCR machine learning based. But again, these are things that you can activate as part of BTP enterprise agreement or pay as you go. You can do a fast, if you're looking at doing prototypes or pilots, this is something that you can quickly activate, build, and if it doesn't work, turn it off, and then you're not charged for it anymore. I will also highlight that SAP has done a good job at learning.sap.com or SAP Learning if you Google it. They do have lots of SAP Build classes out there on the topic of building process automations and actions and things like that. So definitely use SAP's Learning Hub for access to free training, the developer tutorials for SAP Build. I'm sorry, not Learning Hub. Learning Hub is paid. Developer tutorials are free. As we wrap up here, everybody, I wanted to again remind you your lab will be available all day today so that you can continue to practice and play around. Please be kind. We've given you lots of access. Um, sorry, I accidentally put my Gmail out there. That's ridiculous. I wanted to put out my email real quick so that you could send us a note if you have any questions or comments. Need any sort of follow up on capability or an issue with the lab, just let us know. It's michael.pytel@vasscompany.com. We also have my colleagues Nian and Sheldon here. If you have any colleagues in Latin America, we do have a Spanish-speaking session tomorrow going on, and we are very thankful for your time. Appreciate it. Hope you walked away today learning something new, and have a great rest of the day, everybody. Thank you again for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.